75 years of age, Superman has had his origin story rebooted more times than pretty much any other character. But what an origin story. The sole survivor of a dying planet shot off into space like a tiny alien Moses with laser eyes.
Yes, that's one way of looking at it. It certainly is a very individual origin story. But nonetheless, every few years, a new writer will come along who wants to have their own try at reimagining the legend. And that's certainly not a bad thing, because it has given rise to some of our best Superman stories, I think. And this being our super special, we've decided to take a look at a few of those origin stories in a segment that we're calling Superman Begins.
No, we never actually agreed on that because it's silly.
You're silly.
It is. But we're not going to look at these titles in any particular order, but we are going to start with the oldest. Superman for All Seasons. From the award-winning team of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, this was always going to be a book worth reading.
Yeah, this partnership is known for their poignant character portraits in works like Batman Dark Victory, Spider-Man Blue, and Daredevil Yellow. Superman for All Seasons again finds a quiet and personal way to approach a well-known character, telling a story that is essentially a love triangle between Superman, Lex Luthor, and Metropolis. I also found that this book brought home the loneliness of being Superman in a way that I haven't seen done as well before.
Yeah, and in a strange way, it's less a story about Superman and more about the supporting cast. The people that helped Clark become Superman. I've got to say that the artwork is also stunning. There's an understated, old-school feel to the art that gives this story an innocence and a really simple beauty. I really love this book, and it's become a classic for a reason.
Absolutely, I agree completely. Now, next we'll look at another title from another one of the big names over at DC, the Jeff Johns penned Superman Secret Origin. In terms of tweaks on the formula, we have a bit of time spent on Clark Kent's teenage years, we have a young Lex Luthor, and an impromptu trip into the future, courtesy of the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, I wasn't really sold on the whole time travel chapter in this because it felt kind of tacked on and it didn't really go anywhere.
Apart from Into the Future.
Yeah, still, once we get to Metropolis, we kick right into a classic Superman tale with a nice focus on the military's initial fear of this alien that's shown up in their city. Gary Frank's art in this is very good, although I was slightly thrown by the fact that Supes looks exactly like Christopher Reeve in this book.
Yeah, he does, especially when he's in Clark Kent mode. None of the other character looks are taken from the movie, though, which I think is a good thing, because really, nobody wants a Gene Hackman-inspired Lex Luthor in the comics.
Never again.
I think, all up, this is, it's a well-told story with a slight tendency towards cheesiness. Moving on, we have the latest of these origin reboots with Superman Earth 1.
I have to admit I was a little concerned going into this one, considering how on the front cover they have a quote from The Hollywood Reporter saying that this was Twilight meets superhero fiction.
Yeah, now, I'm pretty sure they somehow meant that in a positive way. I'm not sure how, but they were unfortunately accurate, I found. As Clark spends the majority of this book moping about like a spoilt teenager whose dad just took his Xbox away. I found it really hard to connect with a character who's perfect at everything he tries, but still walks around with a face like a slapped backside.
Well, maybe that's because Clark does find all those things boring. I mean, ultimately, this is a story about Clark choosing responsibility over selfishness.
Yeah.
And he does end up in the one career that he doesn't find effortless, which is journalism. I agree that this isn't my favourite version of Superman, but I really enjoyed Shane Davis's artwork, especially when it comes to the invading alien horde. And now we come to the final title in our lineup of Superman stories, and one which I think we're both quite partial to.
Yeah, well look, I know I certainly was. Superman Birthright is written by Mark Waid, drawn by Laniel Francis Yu, and is apparently a large part of the inspiration for the Man of Steel movie. There's a really nice build in this book leading up to Clark's decision to don the red underwear. Also, I don't know if I've ever felt the tragedy of the death of Krypton as I did when I was reading this.
Yeah, I have to admit, when I did close this book, there may have been a tear in my eye. Look, this is a very emotional book, and I have to admit, it did make me want to read a lot more Superman, which I find is actually quite rare. Yu's artwork has a great masculine feel to it, which you need for a Superman story. But what I like most about this book is the strong feeling of a lonely man just trying to find the place where he belongs. And ultimately, isn't that what Superman's about?
Well, that's deep, dude.
Shut up.
Like right here.
Just...
Do you need a tissue or something?
I just need a moment, okay?